More than once these past couple of years, rather than sing, I have wanted to scream. Which is to say that I have felt a lot of anger throughout the pandemic. But why anger? After a lot of reflection, I have come to understand the anger is a mask for my grief. We have all lost so much these past years, individually and together. I canceled a dream trip with my mom to Paris in spring of 2020, just as some of you have also canceled trips near and far. Some of you lost the opportunity for high school and college graduations with family, or simply visiting your college kids at a place farther away than just down the hall. Some of you lost many, many months before meeting new grandkids as precious moments of childhood passed along. Parents lost so much sleep, so many dreams for how they imagined parenting their kids. Rather, you spent hours figuring out Zoom school and the ever-shifting protocols of testing and masking. And finally, some of you have lost your jobs, your marriages, and yes, even your family and friends. And as a community, we have lost the opportunity to offer a hug or quiet word in coffee hour, to share the burden of our losses, which Jan spoke to so eloquently. With breakout rooms and midweek check-in, phone calls and notes, we have tried to stay connected, tried to share heartaches and challenges of these years. But the need for distance segregated us, undermining the very essence of what defines us, congregating. I am grateful for the gifts of technology that offered a modicum of relief from the distance and the isolation. And yet it isn't the same, is it? We miss the small conversations, the smiles passing in the hall, the serendipitous connections that become new friendships, programs, or possibilities. We miss the sense of buzz that emerges on a Sunday morning before the service begins. That electric current that links us one to another into a body larger than ourselves. Today, the loss I will place on this altar of grief is the buzz of the congregation, the in-person congregation we were in February 2020. We had plans. Plans like Metro West Climate Solutions, hosting a large gathering to hear Senator Mike Barrett. There were posters all through the building that finally, were taken down months later. And we had a whole box of business cards with the Metro West Climate Solutions motto and how to sign up for our newsletter, and a email that doesn't even work anymore because we've changed it. That's just one example. We will never know what we might have become, or what might have become of that buzzing congregation of February 2020. History intervened and turned our course. My time away these past 2 weeks became a meditation on history. I visited various historical sites, the Reconstruction era National Park in Beaufort, South Carolina, where formerly enslaved persons first tasted freedom, wage labor, and education. Also the Appomattox Courthouse in Virginia, where Lee surrendered his Confederate troops to Grant under generous terms, seeking peace after divisive war. And also the Woolworth Counter in Greensboro, North Carolina, where students, teenagers really, chose to defy the degradation of Jim Crow by taking a seat and asking for a cup of coffee. Visiting those historical sites while also reading daily about the war in Ukraine, I had a sense of history with a capital H. There are times when the moment and the movement of events around us is too large to ignore or stop. It's not like, I don't think I'm going to get involved in voting this year, or I'd prefer not to do this project. There are sometimes history, capital H, just says, stop, pay attention. Your life is different now. And our only choice becomes how to respond to those circumstances of that moment. The pandemic has been a moment of global history. We have all had to surrender, to lose control to its relentless impact on us. We have all had to grieve losses of people, of freedoms, of a future that will never be. We could not simply hit pause and hold our breath for a month or two. We had to accept the changes. We had to let go. The poet Gregory Orr counsels, this is what was bequeathed us. This earth the beloved left, and leaving left to us no other world but this one, willows and the river, and the factory with its black smokestacks. This is the world bequeathed us, the one without our beloved, the one with grief and loss, as well as the one with natural beauty beneath a sky choked by black smoke. But we don't want to surrender. We like to be the people who do something. We are the religion of deeds, not creeds. We are the ones who can make a difference. Until we can't. At least not really. Not in a way that simply makes the problems go away. Sometimes we cannot fix the problem. We can only surrender to the world bequeathed to us in this moment of history. We did not choose this moment, nor want these events, nor may we be happy with it. In fact, we might be very angry about it. We did not choose the loss of experiences, of gatherings, of people, not the forced adaptation to Zoom and multi-platform worship, not the ever-changing advice about masking, vaccinations, and what constitutes safe for individuals and for groups. But this is the world bequeathed us. We have no choice but how to respond within the context we inherit. We are here on this shore, littered with the refuse of our lost hopes, our broken dreams for what our life should have been like in 2020, 21, 22. So let us name where we are and acknowledge what we have indeed lost. Let us hear the sorrow in our own heart and in the grief and in others. And let us have compassion for each other as we each respond differently to the losses we have responded to in our history. We have all been changed by what was bequeathed us by this moment, this history, this loss. And as the poet Orr counsels, there is no meaning but what we find here, no purpose but what we make. That and the beloved's clear instructions, turn me into song, sing me awake. Having accepted what shore we now live upon, having acknowledged the losses and our grief, what meaning and purpose might we now make? What song might we now sing? What buzz might we reignite within this congregation? This may not be where we wanted to be, and we may not be happy about it, but this is where we are, and there is still so much beauty and goodness to be seen. The willow tree, the river, the daffodils emerging, the laughter of children, the wonder of life and love. Yes, there are still black smokestacks and the rise of don't say gay legislation and a whole litany of things that should be different. But let us not only scream and weep. Let us also remember to sing. Let us pay attention as spring arrives. Let us dare to reconnect with people here in person in this place and in other places that matter to us. Let us still live, even here, on this shore, where we never wanted to be. So may it be. Amen.